Listen, the draft is over, and while everybody is out here celebrating Sonny Styles, breaking down Antonio Williams, and talking about the day 3 picks, there is a conversation nobody wants to have straight up. Because in the middle of all that excitement about the shiny new draft class, a man who gave everything to this team just got left without a seat at the table. Bobby Wagner, gone. And today we're going to talk about that. No softening it, no easy positive spin, as real fans. Technically, Bobby Wagner is not on the Commanders roster. He never signed for 2026. But the reason this matters today, the reason this stings today, is what just happened in Pittsburgh. Commanders Wire reported that the door was cracked open, that there was a real possibility Wagner could return in a reduced role, that the team was considering it, that his leadership, his presence, his intelligence on the field still had value inside that locker room. And then Peters grabbed pick number 7 and selected Sonny Styles, and the door slammed shut. No ceremony, no moment for Wagner, just closed. Now let me give you the full context because this is not simple. Bobby Wagner is 34 years old. He has played 15 seasons in the NFL, 8 Pro Bowls, 2-time All-Pro, Super Bowl champion with Seattle, and in his 2 years with the Commanders, he showed exactly why he is still valued at this level. Locker room leadership, brutal instincts for reading the game before the snap, and a presence at middle linebacker that brought order to the entire defense. Were his numbers elite? No, but numbers never told the full story of Bobby Wagner. Wagner was the brain of the defense. He was the guy who told you in the huddle exactly what the opposing offense was going to do before they did it. He was the guy that rookies watched to understand how this game is played at the highest level. And that does not show up on any stat sheet. Now, I understand Peters' argument. Sonny Styles is the linebacker of the future. 6'3", 240 pounds, safety speed, first-round range. He is exactly the kind of modern linebacker that today's NFL demands, and you spent the number 7 pick on him because you believed it was the right value at that moment of the draft. But here's the question Peters is never going to answer at a press conference. Could you not have had Styles and Wagner at the same time? Because listen to me, Styles is 20 years old. He is going to make rookie mistakes. There are going to be moments in week 3, in week 7, in week 11 where the signal system breaks down, where communication at the second level of the defense fails, where an elite tight end exposes him in coverage because he is still learning. And in those moments, who fills that intelligence gap? Wagner could have been that perfect bridge. The veteran that Styles watches, learns from, absorbs. The role player who does not cost you the world in cap space, but is worth millions in what he transfers to the rookie you are developing. That is what elite organizations do. The Patriots did it for 2 decades. They do not cut the veteran. The day they draft the young guy, they use him as the bridge. But Peters chose differently. And look, keep it a buck. Peters might be right. Styles might be so mentally advanced that the learning curve is shorter than we think. Durant Jones, the new defensive coordinator, might have a system designed to cover those rookie mistakes with the scheme. But it is also possible that in October, when the Commanders are fighting an important NFC East game and Styles makes the communication mistake that costs them the win, everyone is going to think about Wagner, about what he represented, about the door that closed too fast. And what bothers me most about all of this is not the move itself. It is the lack of recognition. Wagner deserved a moment, a public acknowledgement, a transparent conversation of, Bobby, we are going in a different direction, but what you did for this team mattered. Was there one? Did any beat reporter cover a call from Peters to Wagner? A statement from the organization? Anything? Because players who bring leadership, culture, and football intelligence to a franchise deserve more than just being quietly removed from the equation while the team announces its shiny new draft class. Drop it in the comments right now. Do you think Peters made the right call closing the door on Wagner, or was it a mistake not keeping him even in a reduced role to guide Styles through his rookie year? I have my position, and I will defend it. But while we process Wagner's exit, there is another angle of this draft that we need to break down. Because Sonny Styles did not land at number 7 without generating his own debate, and that debate has everything to do with what Peters sacrificed to bring him in. Pick number 7, Sonny Styles. linebacker out of Ohio State, and at the level of pure talent, this is genuinely exciting. Styles is a ridiculous athlete, 6'3", 240 pounds, safety speed, first-round marks across every metric that matters. He can cover tight ends in man coverage. He can blitz from multiple angles. He can make plays in open field that normal linebackers simply cannot make. He is the modern linebacker that NFL offenses genuinely respect. But the uncomfortable conversation is this: the Commanders spent the number 7 overall pick on a linebacker when their secondary is a documented black hole and their offensive line still has serious unanswered questions. Pick 7, fam. You know who was available around that range. Monroe Freeling, an elite offensive tackle, went to Carolina at 19. Spencer Fano went to the Browns at 9. Francis Mauigoa to the Giants at 11. And Peters took a linebacker? The beat reporters acknowledged that Styles had a first-round grade on nearly every board. The value was there on paper. But value on paper does not fill the holes in the secondary. It does not give Quan Martin ball hawk instincts. It does not give Amik Robertson back his consistency after a down season. This defense is going to depend on the pass rush being dominant every single Sunday, because if Styles and the front 7 do not generate consistent pressure, that secondary is going to suffer exactly like it did in 2025. And the circle comes all the way back around. If you had kept Wagner in a mentor role, you at least had defensive intelligence covering Styles' rookie mistakes while he learns. But without Wagner and with a secondary full of question marks, Styles' margin for error in his rookie year shrinks down to almost nothing. That is Peters' bet. Big, bold, and completely yet to be seen if it pays off. Okay, breathe, because in the middle of all that tactical and emotional debate, there is something from this draft that genuinely puts a smile on my face. A 6th-round guy whose own head coach described him in a way you simply cannot ignore. Matt Gulbin, center, Michigan State by way of Wake Forest. Pick 209, and you know what Dan Quinn called him on the post-draft call? Absolute savage. Dan Quinn does not hand those words out easily. And when your head coach describes a 6th-round lineman with that kind of energy, that guy has something real. The numbers back it up. 1,318 pass protection snaps over 5 college seasons, only 5 sacks allowed, 5. His PFF pass blocking grade at Michigan State last season was 87.8. That is elite production at any level. Context matters here. Tyler Biadasz, the all-pro center, walked in free agency. There is a massive hole in the middle of the offensive line. Allegretti starts the season at center. But Gulbin brings interior versatility, pure grit, and the mindset of a guy who transferred twice and got better at every single stop. Assistant GM Lance Newmark described him as someone who plays the game the way we want to play it. No excuses, physical, all attitude. Is he the week 1 starter? No. Can he develop into a depth gem who eventually wins a starting job? Absolutely. And in a draft where the Commanders only had 6 picks, finding that kind of player in the 6th round is exactly the type of move Peters needs to justify his entire roster-building philosophy. 3 conversations today. Fam, Wagner out, a legend who deserved more than a door quietly closed in his face while the new class got announced. Styles in, a generational talent arriving with all the pressure in the world and without the mentor who could have guided him through it. And Gulbin, the 6th-round savage, reminding us that sometimes the best finds come from exactly where nobody is looking. The 2026 draft has a bittersweet taste, and the debate is just getting started. Tell me below if Peters got it wrong with Wagner. I want to read every single one of your arguments, and if this breakdown fired you up, you already know what to do. Drop that like. The DMV is wide awake. Raise hail, fam. See you in the next one.